a little.
I have a little way to fade in and out of games. Look, the production values on the
Okay.
stream crazy. So this time around, we are going into, I believe, the fourth 5v5 team game of the day in the new m1lkcast League, and it is gonna be good.
Is
It's gonna
this
be real good. Fourth game,
third?
right? One, two,
Third?
three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Four?
Yeah.
What was? All right.
Team never
Oh,
invade.
game
Liga
two was Stomp, right?
Game 2 was Team Poop against Team something. Yeah, that was sort of stompy. So, anyway, this time around, we do see yet another team. Sacred Venge, Wale Marno, and Genocide George, sort of more common in-house players. Burnabus and Nomads. I think this is a game where they all wanted to go ahead and say, like, hey, yeah, let's get in on this tournament. So if anyone else watching the stream is a little like this and says, like, hey, I'm having fun in these games. I want to maybe join a team and get in on this tournament play, which a lot of people have been doing today. I think a couple of the teams we've seen so far have been freshly formed teams. So if you have 4 friends, go ahead, band together. We will be casting these games every day, especially this weekend, where I think we're just really devoting a lot of time to team play, and this tournament will be going on for the next couple weeks. So it is going to be sort of just a ladder for now. It's not elimination. No one's getting kicked out. It is just teams fighting each other to try and get wins. Wins equals points. Points equals better position on the leaderboard. So, at any rate, we do see the Rennington ban instantly banned by Purple Team, targeted at Genocide George. We do see Skarner being banned against Wale Marno. Wale Marno, I think, not really losing in the jungle so far. Knows exactly sort of when to counter jungle, when to fight, when to duel, when to gank, when to farm.
Dude, there's a Karma ban.
Oh man, she's super OP. You have no idea. She really is.
Dude.
So, by the way, yep, good question. What is the IRC channel? If you guys don't have a client, an IRC client, just go to m1lkcast.com. That's m1lkcast.com, and there's a web chat on there. If you do have a channel, a client, it is the channel #m1lkcast on QuakeNet that you can go ahead and join. I will be idling in there pretty much 24/7. I'm always going to be losing my my IRC on. If you guys want to ask questions, the question is, what is this for? Yeah, obviously, no one can play on any more than one team, because what happens if those 2 teams have to play together? The tournament system is a double round robin, aka teams play each other twice. A win is worth 1 point, a loss is worth no points, and if you tie, that is win 1 game, lose 1 game, lose 1 game. Both teams, of course, get 1 point. So pretty much every time you beat another team, you get a point, and then over the course of the next 2 weeks, we will get sort of a built-up leaderboard going. Not every game will have a chance to be casted, and we will start asking teams to play each other. However, for now, this is really just the early stage of things, and I am going to make a more formal announcement later on. So we have seen, yeah, this is the 4th team we've seen so far, and it's going to be interesting. We do see a Shaco pick quickly turning into a Teemo pick. Wale Marno is able to pick up the Udyr jungle. Looks like we're going to see a Nidalee up top, and it could be an AP Janna mid, or it could be a support Janna, or it could even be a support Nidalee, who knows. Genocide George loves playing that solo top, so I don't know. I don't really think he's that comfortable with Nidalee.
Things that aren't Renekton?
Yeah. You might want to move your microphone just a little bit further away, by the way.
And as far as team names go, we have on the left, don't ban Renekton or we lose. And on the right, we have the Killer Slug Backbreakers.
Yeah, and I think blue team, I have them written down as Team Repairman. I don't think the team names are really that important. We know who you guys are. It's more like, oh, it's that team with Genocide George and Wale Marno.
I don't know, man. Don't ban Renekton or we lose.
Yep. So, gonna be interesting.
We want to
see the Dunk Master. We do see Twitch, though. AD carry Twitch, OP. So, once again, guys, I do ask that if you have any questions, don't message me while I'm trying to go over things, because my brain doesn't work that way. Go ahead, join the IRC or join Reddit in-house, and I will answer your questions when I have a chance. It's best, I think, to ask questions in IRC, because I do get that nice little notification, whereas Reddit in-house we see a lot of spam going down. So anyway, but if you do want to organize games or organize teams, go ahead and do that in Reddit in-house, because that does have the largest audience, around 73 people in it right now. So anyway, back to the picks and bans. We do see the Mundo jungle picked up by purple earlier, which will be decent against Udyr because both of them can clear very fast. Mundo, if he finds Udyr in his own jungle and wants to run away, those cleaves are going to be quite effective at slowing down the enemy Udyr. Ari being picked up mid against looks like a Galio pick, quite interesting there. Actually, I think this Galio pick is quite good. Purple team really doesn't have a whole lot of CC that they can use to stop it. They have Aurelia's stun, which he has to be in melee range to use. Ari's taunt, which is pretty long range, and then Soraka's silence. Not a whole lot of CC coming out from purple team. Looks like Genocide George is going to be playing that solo top Lee Sin, which I've never seen him do before. Is this really going to be jungle Janna?
No.
We better not see yet another cheesy.
I think it's probably going to be jungle Udyr.
We've seen one game so far where a kill lane bot has worked. Only one, and we've seen it fail and fall flat on its face 5 or 6 times. It is hard to pull off because if you fall behind, you can only really deal damage if you get in melee range, and that's not all that effective. Looks like it is going to be a little bit of trolling going on. They're just, I think, maybe going to want to keep us on our toes right up until the point where the game starts.
Is this an AD carry Italy?
Either that or Janna. I'd say probably a little bit more likely we'll go see Janna carrying, but who knows?
Huh. That's it. So what are the advantages of an AD carry Janna?
Really compared to what she gets out of being a support, not a whole lot. If you play, just speaking in terms of the math, if you have like someone like a Tristana who has a 90% attack speed steroid, and you put Janna on top of her, there's nothing really that you get out of AD Janna that you don't from Tristana. Of course, her shield can be used on another AD champ to kind of, get. It has like a 50-80 steroid. You can put it on a friendly champ and they get that buff. You don't have to put it on yourself. Nidalee, however, I guess there is some synergy between Nidalee and Janna, and that Nidalee has an attack speed steroid and Janna has an AD steroid, which makes trading kind of, you get both buffs and you get a lot of damage. We could see that happening. I don't really know. But however, Janna is very good at peeling. She's very good at running away. She's very good at kind of giving people 50 AD. However, none of that stuff is really selfish, and a lot of AD carries have a selfish steroid. So Vayne, Ezreal's passive, Caitlyn's passive, Orki's passive, Tristana's Q. It's like things like that. They're very selfish, right? And the reason they're not played as supports is because Tristana can't cast her 90% AS buff on someone else. Janna can cast her 50 AD buff on someone else. Anyway, no real AD champs do have that AD steroid, though. Certainly not to the degree of Janna. So maybe something like, Janna Nidalee, Janna Nunu, someone with a big AS buff is able to work quite well. However, I just don't see why you would rather run, AD Janna rather than, AD Janna getting her AS buff from Nidalee versus, AD carry Tristana getting her own selfish steroid and then just having Janna put the shield on her.
This is only the second time we've ever seen Aurelia in one of these in-houses. It's so strange how just that little tiny nerf to her sustain has really shut her out of a lot of play. I mean, you could make a case for her just no longer being the flavor of the month character, but it still seems kind of silly because of what she brings to a team fight. The fact that she's basically unCCable as soon as there's a few champions around her.
Yeah.
She's got that great stun.
She's getting buffed.
What?
Have you ever heard words come out of someone's lips before that are that preposterous, that insane? Aurelia
are they bringing
is
back
buffing, is getting buffed.
What are they doing?
Who knows? Wonderful things, I'm sure.
They'll probably just bring back up the sustain on her W a little bit.
Who knows?
They probably, the cutting in half was a little rough. I think they'll probably bring it up to 2/3.
Who knows? At any rate, I do like to see Aurelia. She's sort of a tanky assassin. I guess similar to Poppy. So the difference is that her lane stage is by no means weak. Does quite a good job of sustaining, and then kind of around level 9, she can turn on that true damage W and really do a lot of damage to someone. Items like Wit's End, of course, synergize very well with her kit. Really gains a lot from attack speed, both.
Well, Wit's End has the added benefit of making her do magic damage, so she's doing physical, true, and magic damage on every attack, making it impossible to really build to mitigate her damage. Because if you build health, You're taking more damage than is probably necessary from the physical and the magic. If you build armor, you're still taking true and magic, and if you build magic resist, you're still going to take true and physical. It's just impossible to really build to shut down her damage.
Yeah. Lee Sin, by the way, a decent pick against Aurelia, because Aurelia is very much a auto attacker. She wants to either stun you or slow you, gap close to you, and kind of turn on that heightened style and really get her damage down. Lee Sin, of course, with his E, is a huge attack speed debuff. And he also has a very high amount of sustain. I think also getting nerfed next patch. So
yes,
good time this matchup to be played now, because I think with Lee Sin being nerfed and Aurelia being buffed, we might see a completely different story. Anyway, just again to go over the lanes, it is going to be a support Nidalee and an AD John, not something you see every day, combined with a Soraka on support and a Graves on AD carry. A little bit more standard, I guess is the word you should use. Anyway, Ahri mid against Galio should be an interesting matchup, because Galio, of course, is melee, has a little bit of a disadvantage early game. And then it does look like we are going to see Lee Sin against Aurelia top. So we shall see how things go. I really don't. I'm personally, for a long time, I've said I'm not a fan of Mundo in higher level play, because it's like really the only reason people play him is that he clears so fast, that he farms so hard, that he gets so tanky. But that's
every time you say this, we go over the same thing. He does have strong ganks, and he has poke.
He has strong ganks, I think, if people have a long way to run back to their turret. And I don't know, Genocide George not running with Ghost like he usually does. Ghost is very strong against Mundo's ganks. Flash, not so much. Anyway.
A little bit of an update on our last game. They are going to replay. But this time the winner is the winner. There will be no rematch. Whatever happens, happens. So, I mean, I think that's pretty good sportsmanship from both teams.
What I maybe would have liked to see?
What?
Is how this is a double round robin system, pretty much meaning that each team plays each other twice, not kind of like back to back like you usually see, but just kind of at a point in time. Would have been great to see good sportsmanship from Red saying we're just going to forfeit our next match, so that between we two we realize that we're very
and deprive us of another game between those teams. I think not, sir.
Yeah.
I think not.
You do have to realize that 20 teams playing each other, that is like an insane amount of games.
Oh, I know it's an insane amount of games.
So we're not going to be able to cast them all. I don't think teams are even going to play every game. However, it is going to be a lot of interesting games. So be sure to subscribe to this stream at twitch.tv/m1lkcast. Of course, for optimal viewing, I do recommend you go to m1lkcast.com, which is a nice large embedded link, plus a IRC chat if you want to ask any questions, discuss what's happening in the game, make fun of the casters for missing first blood, the usual stream chat that you see.
We never miss first blood.
I think we have actually done very good at not missing first blood. Anyway, we do see a red start Mundo, a blue start Udyr. Standard stuff. Mundo probably gonna be hitting.
I was right. It is the AD carry Nidalee.
Oh wow.
It is what it is.
I mean, you can sort of see she does get more damage off of Cougar form ability. So if that lane starts to snowball, and AD Nidalee is going to do a lot more damage. Mundo ganking top, by the way. I'm going to cut you short. George is only level 1. Koina is not quite level 3, so he's not going to have his cleaver. I don't think that that's the right call. Wale Marno is an exceptional counter jungler and will very easily, I think. Although, wow. So much damage coming off of Genocide George. That is first blood. I take it all back. He did level up to level 3 by when Killer Sluggy was able to take down a creep. So, no Renekton for you. Also, no Ghost for you. Really shuts down Genocide George's effectiveness. Because I think he is quite reliant on that Ghost to get away from ganks. Lee Sin also a very difficult solo top to play. He's very skill shot reliant, and he's kind of just conceptually has a lot of combos. Although Wale Marno doing what every Wale Marno wants to do, he is going to do counter jungle and likely be able to get this buff and give it over to Galio. Ahri understands he's going. The Galio is going down. However, didn't realize I think that he was going to blue. Instead, maybe thought it was going to be a gank. I love early ganks, by the way. Especially on a hard CC champ like maybe a Twisted Fate, and Ahri ganking at level 3 or level 4 when you have your hard CC, your ignite, and a little bit of burst, so unexpected. It really is. Especially if you can push a wave, you only miss out like a couple of creeps, and no one expects it, because it's just not a viable strategy in solo queue, where you really have to, like, you have to be the person who carries, and you can't just set up kills for your team. However, you do see it starts to become a viable strategy in this, more coordinated team games. Ari actually forced a flash.
Good flash.
Barnabas, a very nice flash also. Lots of damage from the turret, it seems, going down on Koina. Barnabas spamming that laugh. This is the new skin, right?
No, this is the commando skin.
Oh, commando skin, so he's got those sunglasses. Too bad we don't see Leona.
Oh, there goes.
Wale and Marno gonna find Koina. We do see Galio getting tagged. Actually, that's surprising. Galio didn't pick up an assist, though. I could have sworn that E provided Wale Marno with an attack speed buff. Lee Sin not following his lane. This could be bad, but no, instead, just gonna be able to safely back off. Barnabas using his E, I think, the long way, using it for damage.
Yeah, I was thinking that at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they might find Barnabas. There it is. He does get stunned. This could be a kill here. Oh, but Wally Marno. And look, Genocide George is not really doing a good job of coming in early. A nice Q.
Oh.
Gonna go over the wall. And takes that down to 12 health. Oh, and a very nice shield, I think, maybe shielded. Yeah, we did miss, I think, a kill down bot. Oh, wait, no, there is the kill. Going down. Soraka, wow, that heal coming off of Italy, almost certainly going to be able to pick up a kill here on Soraka. She had her flash up, didn't want to flash away. Maybe figured she was dead anyway. And
Team Bam Renekton doing work.
Yeah.
I think that their coordination there was actually pretty great.
Genocide
George's team? Genocide George to leave top lane.
Wow. Although he did only walk down about a quarter of a meter into the river.
It was far, but he was almost a try-brush, man.
Yeah, I'm sure that was unfamiliar ground for Genocide George. He probably felt a little bit far away from home, walking all the way. Oh! And it looks like that's the furthest we've ever seen Genocide George leave top lane. Not a player known for going down into the river. Certainly not any further from that area. No, we're just trolling. We love Genocide George. He's a nice guy. Although I think his top lane could maybe, benefit to roam a little bit more. He very often wins top lane, especially on Renekton. Quite a solid Renekton player. However, not best at actually using that advantage to help the team. Also, it looks like we haven't seen a couple missed Qs. That is really the strength of Lee Sin, able to Q people for a percentage of, like with a percentage of their missing health, able to deal extra damage. Quite an assessment. Oh, and actually, very poor play from Genocide George. Didn't level up his ulti in time. Would have certainly been a kill there because Aurelia had dashed to that minion. Genocide George hit level 6 right at the right time. And could have just kicked her in that brush, done a QQ combo, maybe a couple auto attacks and E. Ignite was down though, so maybe not the most kill potential, but still. Level 4 Aurelia, level 6 Genocide George. He's gonna have to be careful. He knows Mundo's up top. He is letting them get behind, but I think he can safely just.
He has ward, so
he has that ward. He can do the ward jump, although he does play on high ping. So that ward jump actually not as effective as that kind of like 18 ping California NA player. I feel his pain. Playing with 160 ping, a lot of the time, you put down the ward, and by the time your W goes off, you're pretty much already standing on the ward. Genocide George actually doing a nice job of putting a ward down.
Whoa, look at how far away from top he is.
This is horrifying. Galio and Udyr. I think this is a call from Wally Marno, who's an exceptional counter jumper. Yeah. Knows all the time. He understands that Mundo started at red. And this should be a easy...
That's a level 6 Galio with his ult up.
Yeah, and no real hard CC other than that charm and that stun. I think Aurelia, it's not going to be possible.
Mundo nicely helping them out.
Yep. Actually, wow, lots of damage going off. Oh, and Ari goes into the stun. Almost certainly going to be killed there.
But she's so fast.
She's just so mobile. Lee Sin actually getting that. Did Lee Sin pick up the kill there on Soraka going low down bot? The Lily Spear doesn't quite connect. Would have certainly maybe been a kill there. 130 health. Italy is not maxing her spear, of course, maxing that that AS buff heal and swipe. Lots of damage going down on George. Not really what you want to see when you have red buff. You should really be in a dominant position at any rate. Let's see, we are going to watch him farm on a turret. There's not a whole lot of action going on anywhere else in the map. We do see Aurelia still level 5. Genocide George is level 7 with red buff. He should really, really go for a kill or some sort of aggression here because I think he is going to be quite safe. Aurelia does, however, have his ignite up. Then again, so does George. And Aurelia now building magic resist, by the way. Not what you want to build against Lee Sin, as he deals almost no magic damage. His Q and his ulti both
look at this
significant sources. Very
more
good counter
jungling. They won't
once again.
The buffs.
Wale Marno just proved to be an exceptional counter jungler. Mundo's still level 5, by the way. They should really turn around and fight this, I think. Although by the way, sound quality once again being trolled by XSplit. Hopefully that will fix it. Although I really don't know. Maybe there was an option in my sounds that I've overlooked.
Oh, maybe we should look over your sound card.
Yeah, I should probably just buy a dedicated sound card and say using the one on Northern. It's the 21st century, honestly. Who needs a sound card?
Who needs onboard sound?
Everyone uses onboard sound. I don't need no creative $200 sound card to get DVD quality sound.
But you want it.
I do. Well, I just want my stream to not die. Mundo finally hitting level 6 10 minutes into the game.
Look at all those wards. Look at the bottom jungle. Just
who's even buying these? Galio, Janna.
Lee Sin has purchased a few. I know that Udyr has at least one. Janna. Everybody's buying wards.
So, by the way, for those teams who are maybe hoping to really take home the gold medal, which of course comes with not only a significant prize pool, but also many sexy ladies, will just flock to your house and just really start doing the deed. Really take a couple of lessons from these teams who are really, regardless of how they CS or how they, harass or any of that good stuff, take a lesson from how well they control the objectives. Objectives, of course, are the enemy jungle, your own jungle, turrets, dragons, and barons. Catching a jungler is always nice, but really denying him a buff is enough. The Udyr is level 7 to Mundo's level 6, and almost soon to hit level 8 himself. Oracle's being picked up, another very, very strong item on the tankier junglers who maybe don't need to build damage, just want to get some of the kind of map control down. Lots of damage. Genocide George missing Qs left and right, however, was
tanking those minions for so long.
Minions for a very long time. Not really ideal play, however, really doing a nice job. See, you have to follow these Qs up. There we go. And he does W away. Probably going to want to wait for this this heightened style. Oh, and he does have a phage now. I just saw that. I just noticed that phage slow was able to go down on the rail up top. However, meanwhile,
he didn't have a ward for that Mundo. So
yeah. However, Mundo is wasting a bit of time up top because Blue is going to take an uncontested dragon. Going to be respawning at around 17 minutes and 45 seconds. We will see. Wale Marno generally doing a great job of getting there in time for the respawn. So lots of damage going down on bot lane. Gallo getting a nice channel ulti on top of Soraka and Raze. Soraka's certainly going to fall down. Forced to use that ulti a little late, and it's not going to be enough. Looks like Ari gonna probably want to back off here. The ward has gone down, however, Udyr is around with an Oracle.
Same vicious stuff going on from this Wale Marno.
What's that?
Just the amount of control he's exercising over this game.
Yeah, I'd call that Diamond Fox stuff. Same vicious style is sort of like gank hard and gank often, Or if your team is losing, just AFK with Burning Agony on his window. Really fit. However, some nice control obviously coming off from Wale Marno. Does back away from that. His smite is on cooldown. Might have down for smite still on that big wolf, which is really just the trolliest thing to do. Of course, those small creeps are only worth 5 gold at the wolf camp.
I mean, he's got like, in terms of gold advantage over this Mundo, he's a good 1,000 gold ahead. So,
and it's only 13 minutes into the game, so that is a significant advantage.
It really is.
He also has, he has level 2 boots and a Heart of Gold. Mundo's still trying to, I think, go for the identical build. Was able to pick up that Oracles. Although it is interesting to note, if Udyr gets caught, that chain slow from Infected Cleaver, Udyr just not going to be able to break out of it because he doesn't have Merc traits. This time around, it looks like Mundo is going to take his red buff for free. Doesn't look like Udyr's in a position to go ahead and stop that. Interesting stuff there. And it looks like it's turning into a little bit of farm fest here at the 13-minute mark. Dragon is down, so not a whole lot of reason to really make ganks or plays. Just kind of say, we're going to chill. This is This is League of Last Hits. Ari not quite able to one-shot waves. Will soon, I'm sure, be able to do it. I'm not quite sure what she's planning on picking up. 1,400 gold. Maybe gonna get a revolver to kind of just help her keep high on health. Udyr scouting out the fact that that red buff is down. Didn't quite find the Mundo.
One of the interesting things I'm noticing about the AD Nidalee is how much control she has over the lane and his position. As soon as the enemy AD carry leaves, she can pop into that Panther form and just immediately clear the wave like that. But she also has the ability, using that heal, to freeze the lane fairly early.
She did also pick up a Wriggle's Lantern, which is interesting. She does push very, very hard, and all the power of split pushing Nidalee, only it's going to be available as your AD carry, so you can use that Lee Sin. Not so much of a split pusher, more of like a kind of someone who can pick people. Mundo forced to back away from his own blue buff. Not the best. Jungle control from red team. They are quite far behind, and this is really how you secure a lead. 5k in the advantage of blue team. We might see a little bit of a flash ulti here. However, Soraka needs to be CC'd or she can cast that silence down. They're just going to back away. They're going to hug turret. Mundo is around. Does have his ulti up, which I would like to see him pop.
At the 15-minute mark, we have a 5k gold lead for Team Ban Renekton.
Oh, actually, Aurelia falling down, making mincemeat out of Lee Sin, even though she only has 90 armor. This would be going even worse for Lee Sin if she had picked up the Ninja Tabi and maybe some armor items.
I mean, you build those Merc Treads because once you're in a fight, in fact, both of them on red team, the only two forms of crowd control reduction in the game that stack with tenacity are on Mundo, his Burning Agony, and on Aurelia, her passive. So
yeah, that cloth armor not being built into a Ninja Tabi, he might actually just be going for Merc Treads that doesn't quite have the gold. Ari forced to use her ulti to get away from the Udyr gank. Galio didn't use his Idol of Durand, a very, very potent CC. One of the longest CCs in the game in an AoE, 2-second taunt and level 1. However, is relatively easy to cancel as it is a channel. So yeah, Nidalee just not afraid. It's half healthing the Braves with that span of the Cougar form abilities, which obviously don't draw mana, but she also does have blue buff, which is going to keep her so healthy. With a relatively low cooldown on her Primal Surge. It's only 8 seconds, gives her 190 HP. So much sustain, especially combined with Wriggles. Mundo leaving bot lane. Graves and Soraka are going to have to be careful that they don't feel too overconfident here. Genocide George, Udyr is around. I think this is a bit of a bait. Very nice kick right into the Udyr. Red buff slow, does go down. Forced to flash over the wall. A nice flash from Wally Marno. We often see him playing like this. Very aggressive with the flash. Very, very, very good at making sure his lanes get the kill. My cat is meowing. I think he really liked that Lee Sin play, so congratulations, Genocide Georgia. Oh wow, so much damage going down onto this. Alright, almost certainly going to be taken down by the Ignite. There it is, and just, Cleaver barely missing that. Galio, great play from Galio to sort of really put the hurt down, put it on a clinic down on Ari. At any rate, I'm going to let my cat out. Probably wants some kibble or something. So be right back.
Alright.
Oh, and I'm going to lock onto the Udyr as we go away.
Sounds good to me. Man. Alright, so we have a Lee Sin who's feeding. Aurelia
who's feeding.
Well, he is the only one on Team Renekton who has died. So.
Feeder noob. My Coca-Cola, which I dropped on the floor earlier, by the way, did not spray all over my keyboard when I opened it. So, stream viewers who are attentive to the outside game action going on in this casting, exactly. We have been casting now for like 4 hours, so
have we?
I need my drink. I have, at least. I don't know. You did have that crash, but you joined back in.
Yeah. I'd like that 5-minute break.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
We got to eat your hamburger.
Smoke screen does weird things to the ward shader, but it's pretty weird.
Yeah. Graves tanking in a spear, but it's really not going to do a whole lot of damage. However, Galio does not have his ulti, by the way, in this fight. You have to be careful. George missing yet another Q. Not so lucky with his Q placement today. It is a little bit finicky to place. It does have a relatively large shot. Janna almost certainly going to go down here. Doesn't even get the ulti off, and that is going to be a kill for Aurelia. I think blue team is a little bit committed here. They don't really know what they're going to do. The smite goes down. for Red Team.
There goes the Wargles
There
off
goes
Wally.
the Oracles on
but
Udyr,
at
although
the same
Koina
time,
able to be taken
Mundo
down
getting
by
picked
a big auto attack. Galio almost about to have his ulti up. It is back in 20 seconds. Really running away. Ooh, really going aggressive into that turret range. I think she didn't have the exact timer on Galio ulti, which is up in 10 seconds if Red Team makes a continued push. Maybe a little bit.
Did you see who picked up Dragon?
Yeah, it was Red Team. Ooh, and a nice charm going down on the Sacred Bench. However, the Galio ulti up, just up now. Here we go. Lots of turret damage going to come in, especially on the Soraka, quite low. Sacred Bench though, using that Cougar form, realizes I'm a nice save from Janna, able to get the shield off in time, picking up the reducing the effectiveness of that ignite. And both Galio and Nidalee making out with very low health. This is the flaw of straight AD Nidalee. She's not tanky, and if she wants to go in and use that Cougar form, which will granted give her more damage, she can't really do that safely in a team fight. Very nearly died, but excellent play from Janna, able to keep her alive with a clutch shield. Genocide George jumping all over the place that team fight. Not quite able to get the kick. I think maybe they could have secured a kill if George was a little bit more aggressive with his flash. Sounds good. Is there a team who's ready to play against Chansu's team?
I think we actually already have. Wait, I don't know about next match. I don't have a next match queued, so
Chansu
what I've been
is
telling teams is if you are looking to be casted and play your first 5v5 match, go into the Reddit in-house channel and ask if there's another team available.
It looks like
for the most part,
Taiwan Terror and Chansu are having a conversation on my stream to each other. Taiwan Terror has a team. He's a friend of mine. I know him in real life. And Chansu, of course, a very exceptional player. Looks like another. Sorry, I'm going to stop talking about this because it looks like a very good invade. Able to pick up yet another blue buff, and that one is in fact go onto Galio. Udyr, who picked it up? Udyr with the smite, picking up the blue, securing it away from the Mundo, who I think maybe had vision on that rush and was looking to get the smite steal off. Aurelia, meanwhile, just going to push top as that red buff. It looks like Genocide George sees the advantage now of roaming in that you could just take these objectives.
I just don't think he wants to hang out with Ari anymore.
With Aurelia?
Oh yes, with the Aurelia, sorry.
Yeah.
He'd love to hang out with Ari.
Yeah, everyone wants to get with that.
Turret has been destroyed.
So they do trade turrets. It looks like Sacred Venge down bot with that attack speed steroid and going straight for the Infinity Edge after that. Wriggle's able to just push so fast. So very nicely done. Sacred Bench doing an excellent job as this AD Nidalee, really just dominating bot lane. I think a little too aggressive in team fights with that Cougar form. But the team.
Well, I mean, the scaling on that Q is pretty insane,
It
especially
really
when you're in Cougar form. You can get up to times 3 your attack damage using it, depending on how low their health is. So you can do some pretty significant damage.
George missing a Q. I'm just gonna do a George cam and see how many times it misses Q. It is a finicky skill shot to hit.
It is.
Lee Sin, I think it's actually my season 2 most played. Oh, and there's a nice Q from him. Are they gonna get the flash ulti down? And that is the kill. Aurelia's just walking out of
just
it.
like leaves.
Oh, and a beautiful Q. Sniping the Janna, dealing a ton of damage.
I feel like now you understand
And a
why
great
you
charm, by the way,
always
from
Aurelia.
Yeah, a great charm from Ari, able to pick up Lee Sin, but looks like not quite able. There's the ignite. Very well done from Aurelia, just jumping in and out, really using the mobility to its highest. Wow, just barely getting that stun off. You know, the E on Aurelia is Equilibrium Strike. If you are lower health than your enemy, it will stun. If you're higher health, it will just slow. And I think just it came down to a half percentage there. It looked like they were identical, but in fact, Aurelia just a little bit.
Man, Aurelia really needs a buff. I can see why Riot is concerned.
Yeah, seriously, she's really just not doing a whole lot for her team. She's only 5-1-2 in a game with 7 kills. She's been part of every single one of them. Excellent play coming out of the hands of Aurelia. A little bit far behind in in CS. However, overall, you know, able to keep up relatively well. This is overall, I'd say, a low CS game, other than the Nidalee at 178. At the 23-minute mark, and even that is around 70% of the total max CS available in each lane. It does seem to be a relatively low CS game. Graves a big 65 CS down below the Nidalee. Ari at 125 compared to Galio's 139, quite even. And Lee Sin,
Whoa, Blue's
113.
going for a Baron.
Oh, wow. Very early Baron coming off. And, of course, with that Nidalee, with the Wriggles and the Udyr, of course, Phoenix, so he doesn't have it. So I just take that back. However, so quite good. I don't know if Purple Team was down there for the Dragon. However, that is a Baron from Blue. Not quite able to get the steal off. Lots of damage going down on the Koina, who is, of course, Mundo quite very strong. Able to pick up the Ari, the Rage, and the Mundo. Ari just poke around. Rage stays alive, however, Never Knight, not the best positioning. Aurelia finally going to go down. Not quite able to get that stun off on Sacred Venge's Nidalee. Guys, messaging me and reading other responses from people on stream. This isn't a channel, okay? This isn't like a public, chat channel. This isn't chat roulette, okay? Go join the Reddit in-house, please. And of course, now that I've said that, these fools are going to be spamming away all day long. A nice Middle East Baron, of course, not building any AP, but wow! Beautiful Q.
Landed that Q.
Beautiful Galio QE also taking down Solo, and this looks like it's going to be a good game for Blue.
Hide your chat, bro.
My chat, I think I shall. Probably the best idea. There it goes. So anyway, Blue Team, Red Team, Ari and Soraka just sticking around a little bit too long trying to defend that 5v3, I think it was. And paying for it with their lives. However, Blue Team really, I don't know about this decision to back off. I think that they probably could have at least taken down one inhib turret. It was a 3v5, and really not the best wave clears on Red. They do have that Grave smokes.
They're still going to have half a Barons left, even if they back.
Yeah, and they do have a 12k gold advantage, which is quite significant. Looks like Nidalee is up top, realizes, maybe I'm not going to be able to 1v1 this Aurelia, even though I have IE, Baron buff, and Wriggles. But she is very, very strong right now. Don't underestimate her power. She's about to pick up a Frozen Mallet, which is going to make her a lot stickier. Going back to that Frozen Mallet versus Triforce debate, if you have a nice steroid, which Aurelia definitely does with that heightened style, giving her true damage. If you have a nice steroid, not so much worth it to get the extra burst damage from a Sheen, whereas a Frozen Mallet will...
so good. Galio, not better. It pulls the boot buff into the bush right before Mundo comes over and wards it.
Yeah. I always say, pull your camps into brushes, always, 100% of the time, no exceptions, ever. So Genocide George with an Oracle's actually interesting. Not an item we always see him pick up. Missing yet another Q, you noob. No, he's just checking if that blue buff is around. There's a ward over here at Dragon, which he might want to clear with his Oracles. I don't think he sees it. And a ward in the Baron Pit, and then of course a ward at blue. Other than that, red, really not a whole lot of vision. Nothing guarding their river entrances in their own jungle, and that could be trouble. If you see, look at the view, the vision they've got. Other than just the creeps and champs and turrets they've got, really not a whole lot. So they do luckily see Galio heading in there, but that ward is now gone.
Nidalee just chucking spears up top, manages to connect one with Soraka.
There's another.
Oh, 2 in a row.
And then if this was AP Nidalee, that would be like one shot. Oh, and Soraka coming behind. Anticipates the flash, does instead back off. Aurelia, quick, better run. She does not have a Frozen Mallet yet. Instead, picking up a Ruby Crystal. I don't know about that. She does look like she wants to maybe fight this. Not afraid of anything right now, although taking so much damage from a Nidalee IE crit. Nice splash in from Galio. Looks like he's going to go down to the turret, though. Ari picking up that kill. Nidalee getting the kill on Soraka. We do see Mundo dropping down to Nidalee, who now has a double kill. A nice kick from Genocide George. Able to pick up the kill on Ari, forced to flash away. Wally Mardo flashing in, but nope, his team is not around. They did not want to follow that up. A little bit too aggressive there on Wally Mardo. And it looks like really what they should have done is back off. A low health Udyr with Baron buff is going to get back to health in something like 30 seconds. Baron providing a significant amount of regeneration. So if you look at Lee Sin right now, he has 92 health per 5. Baron buff about to go out. We can actually give you a clear picture. See, dropping down to 17. So Baron on a player with about 2600 health, giving you 80 health per second. So significant. Very
and that buff lasts how long?
Baron respawns every 5 minutes, and I think it lasts for 4 minutes, regardless of whether you have the utility buff or not. It's either 4 or 5. I think it's 4, because I think it's 3 minutes from the time Baron buff expires to the time it comes back up. And if that is true, we are going to see Baron coming up at about 3110, or if I'm wrong, 3030. Sorry, 3010. But I think I am right in saying that it is a 5-minute buff.
check farm levels. All right, yeah, I'm getting word that it's 5 minutes and the respawn is in.
I love how you
7.
say I'm getting word, and it's like I just envision you putting your your finger to your ear like they do on newscasts. Yeah, okay, yeah, it is a 5-minute buff.
Oh no, I don't have a gaming headset. I just have one of those little linear things.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, man.
Do you work for the Secret Service or something?
No comment.
I'm getting word here from President Obama himself that Baron buff does impact mass response.
League declared United States national sport.
Yeah, exactly. At any rate, just looking over the summoners, Graves has no heal, Ari and Aurelia have no ignite, and Soraka has no flash. Udyr has no flash, and Genocide George hit both summoners down. Other than that, everything's out. So we might see a team fight coming into play here. About 40 seconds on Baron, and we have 5 people bot for purple. If they want to stick around bot, they have to push now and get out of there and just make a beeline for Baron because it should be respawning in about 30-40 seconds. So it's going to be a mistake. Oh no, sorry, a minute 30. I was right with that. 5 minutes.
This is one of the funnier parts of League when the game. I wouldn't.
Oh wow, Soraka. Actually, no, this is bad for Nidalee, but a nice pounce, able to get out of that Ari Charm.
Missing that Q.
Missing that Q, bro. You ain't no boy.
I know all about that.
A nice forward dash over the wall. Gets the E off. Doesn't want to commit to it. Doesn't have flash to kind of position. Looks like they're a little bit split. Genocide George gonna chase down the Ari. I'm not gonna watch that because I do want to watch the Galio ult picked up by Graves. A little bit late on that ulti.
Oh wow.
Aurelia surviving. Ari, I think, tanking that spear, and Lee Sin not able to pick up a kill on the ever mobile Ari. However, they don't have a Baron buff here, and this could be trouble. A nice Jonah ult going to put around 400 health onto each member of the team. A nice Q, and there's the E to slow him down, but Sacred Venge just doesn't want to seem to commit because they know Baron is coming up any second now. In 20 seconds. Oh, actually, I was wrong on the timer. It is up now. So very smart from blue team to just say, hey, you know what, we're going to back off. Maybe steal the red on the way to Baron. They do have that Nidalee who has an IE, a PD, and Wriggles, plus that huge steroid, which is, I can't see exactly how much the AS steroid is. I know it is quite significant though. This is going to use Q to get over there. Aurelia's around. She knows what's up.
60% attack speed. But again, that's something you could put on somebody else.
Yep. They're gonna come in, I think, a little bit too late.
Yep.
Smited very nicely by Wally Marlin. They are gonna pop the trailers to get out of there, because it is, of course,
throwing that Q. George, so fearless.
Very fearless. They do have a little bit of gold stacked up on Nidalee, Udyr, and Lee Sin. Gallagher just went back to buy because he died, picking up, I think, a chain vest that time around. I think just a little bit afraid of this damage they're putting up. I would love to see a Randuin's Omen and a Frozen Heart picked up by some combination of the enemy team. Oh, we do see a Randuin's down on Udyr. It would be great to see him also pick up a Frozen Heart, maybe. Or also, it is, by the way, quite a good item on Galio because you are always going to be in the thick of it. And if you want some armor, Frozen Heart, one of the best anti-AD items in the game. Very good, certainly against Aurelia. Cuts not only her physical damage down by 20%, but also in a way her true damage. Of course, true damage can't be reduced, but you reduce the attack speed, you reduce the number of hits she gets with that true damage, and then of course reduce the overall damage output. I am yet
to receive word that we're gonna know who's in our next game right when this game ends, so we might consider doing an interview, or at least attempting one, while they get set up. I have to do something else temporarily, but so something to consider.
Oh shit. I am missing a team fight. Trying to just get word on our next
they're
game.
Just kind of they're just gathering.
Yeah. But I saw.
It
looks like it's a 5v5. About to start. Looks like. At least you're going in. Looks like they're just gonna want to take the turret. Really gets a little bit of CC down on her. Gray's just taken so low. A nice ulti from Burnabas. Catches him at max race. That is certainly gonna be a good game. Nidalee just doing so much damage. And there is.
Legendary AD Nidalee.
Oh, and the flash from the offensive flash ulti. Oh, but wow, able to pick up the kill on the fountain. Maybe dive it. Oh, no need.
Crit.
He gets that crit. Jana a little bit misplayed there with the flash ulti, but you know, who cares? It's it's GG. Very well played from Wale Marno. Very well played from this bot lane. Jana Nidalee with the AS and the AD steroid just totally wrecking Grays. Certainly going to be a GG here. Genocide George flashing into the Nexus Fountain, and that is going to be game. Well played by both teams. You saw, I think, pretty much everyone on both teams did at least one good thing throughout the game. A bit of a snowball.
I'm going to bring Wally into the call so you can talk
wait,
to him
we're not going to do an interview because we do have more games going. So,
do we actually have the next game all prepped?
Yep. So we are going to get an invite soon from Chan Su. And then
Alright, I will be in 1 second because I have to deal with something very quickly.
Okay. Fine, go for it. So just a little bit of analysis there. Lots and lots and lots of threats, both physical and magical damage. Udyr, obviously, his base damage on Phoenix is magical. If he uses Tiger Stance, which is usually not the case for jungle Udyrs, don't really put too many points into Tiger. However, if he does, that is also magical, plus the Wit's End is magical also. So even when he's auto-attacking, he has a lot of on-hit type stuff going on there, which increases the sort of magic damage that he outputs. Galio with that Abyssal Scepter also, reducing the MR to kind of increase the amount of damage Udyr is able to do. Plus, he had a Rabadon's. He also scales quite well off of Magic Resist, which he had quite a fair amount of. So Udyr and Galio doing a ton of magic damage, and then Nidalee and Lee just putting down so much physical damage, so many threats, so many damage threats on the side of blue team. Purple's bot lane did get very far behind. Koina on Dr. Mundo, unfortunately, did fall quite far behind, not even completing his Wriggles. His Warmogs, but it did look like he was about to finish it. He had the recipe, had the items, just needed the 980 gold from the recipe. Aurelia doing a very good job, actually going for a Warmog's armor, not something you generally see. I think it might have been better to build this Phage into a Frozen Mallet instead of wasting kind of the item space for the, because of course Warmog's building out of a Giant's Belt, and Phage plus Giant's Belt plus 825 gold is equal to a Frozen Mallet. Anyway, the lanes just mid and the bot just couldn't really get the pressure from the jungler they needed once they fell behind, because Wale Marno did an excellent job counter dribbling. And that is really just what went ahead and won blue team the game. Excellent buff control, excellent dragon control, and a very, around 25 minutes, I want to say, 22 minutes into the game, they just kind of flipped the switch and said, let's just go ahead and push. I think we're ahead. And that Nidalee with her AS steroid and her IEPD, soon to be Last Whisper, and Wriggles just pushed so very hard. So very well played from blue team. Interesting to see this sort of strategy being played of Nidalee Jana bot. Maybe not the best in the numbers, but clearly the AS and the AD steroids were able to just hammer Soraka and Gray's bot lane. Genocide George doing a decent job up top. It was excellent to see him start roaming, which he very rarely does. Even 20-30 minutes into the game, he kind of has that hot shot farm syndrome where his team is losing a 4v5, and he says, "Oh, but I got a turret. It's worth it." Kind of debatable, but this time around, it was very clear that Genocide George coming down and helping the team did help them get a lot of early game advantage out of that. So very well played from Genocide George, and all around, I think, just a little bit of a snowbally game, but very interesting to see. It snowballed in such a way that it was because of these new strategies employed by both teams. So at any rate, I'm getting a couple of pings and dings from Chansu, who I think probably wants me to get into this next game. I don't know if Kaiser's already in there, but I'm going to go ahead and say GG, WP, end this recording, and move on to Game 5 today of the m1lkcast tournament, which will, of course, be going on for a couple of weeks now. If you, by the way, are either watching the stream or watching a VOD on YouTube, be sure to stop by the Reddit in-house channel or the m1lkcast IRC at m1lkcast.com and let me know that you have a team who wants to get in on these games, because we're going to keep things going. Most of the games will be streamed. However, later on, once we really start trying to kind of finalize the brackets and make sure all teams have played each other, we will not be able to cast every game. At any rate, very well played for both teams. MVP definitely, I think, going to go to that Nidalee, who just totally shattered my expectations of what would happen bot lane. I thought it was going to be a support Nidalee, but I guess I was dead wrong about that. Here we go. On to Game 5. Thank you very much, guys.